I've been at a stage in my life where I didn't feel like looking at myself in the mirror. I had put on a lot of weight. My hormones were going up and down. I didn't know what was happening with me. And that's when my friend helped me with a name, which is Karishma. And the day I reached to her, she didn't make me feel, she didn't demean me, or she was not judging me. You need a kind of a nutritionist or a person who will not judge you for your choices or whatever has happened with your body. So the moment I met her, the day I met her, she has helped me so much, not only in terms of health, physical health, but also in terms of emotional health, because she believes that emotional and physical, both of them go hand in hand. And I am so blessed and lucky to have met her, and we have her today here with us on our podcast. And I'm really excited to see what happens, what unfolds for you all today. So, without any further ado, let's welcome Karishma.
Thank you, Payal. So sweet. I was not expecting that intro though, but
Yeah.
but thank you, thanks a lot. It's been really I've been really lucky to be able to also work with really nice people like you who do appreciate the kind of work that is put in.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed working with you. You already know
Yeah.
it. I've had a conversation with you.
Yeah.
I think over a period of time we've also kind of had a relationship where it's not just been about health, but it's also been about friendship also, right?
Yeah.
So thank you for having me over here. I'm very happy to be able to talk to you today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for doing this and giving your time, because I know that you don't live here in Mumbai and you've been traveling a lot, and you could take that time for us to be here today on this podcast.
Always happy.
It really means a lot. So, in terms of like nutrition, these days, whenever we go out there on the internet, you have so many terms talking about nutrition is this, nutrition is that. It's a very broad term, and every person thinks कि मैं बहुत healthy हूँ, या जो nutrition मैं कर रही हूँ, या जो nutrition मैं कर रहा हूँ, that's the best. Everybody has their own understanding of what nutrition actually means. But if we could simplify it for us, what does nutrition mean in simple terms?
It is true that everybody has their own interpretation of nutrition, right?
Yeah.
And I believe that it's good to have it as well. It's very nice for us to have our own common sense kick in, to have our own intuition kick in and tell us that this works for me and this doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
So I am completely okay and very pro the fact that people are trying to understand things by themselves, right? Great.
Yeah.
My way of looking at nutrition,
Yeah.
okay, and especially since we're in 2025 now, we have the whole advent of AI available now, right?
Yeah.
And we're moving at a pace which is very fast, but also very scary.
Yeah.
On a lot of levels,
Yeah.
right? I've coined this term now, where I feel that wellness and nutrition, right, is very correlated to self-awareness.
Yeah.
So for me, self-awareness is the new wellness.
Okay. Interesting. Huh?
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because we've been speaking about personalization for many years now.
Yeah.
But you know what? Now is when it's getting as real as it can. Everybody comes in with different traits, different personalities, different body types, different way that food reacts to them, right? Something as simple as food intolerances.
Yeah.
You could have a different food intolerance and I could have a different food intolerance, right?
Yeah.
Nutrient deficiencies. You could have a different nutrient deficiency and I could have a different one, right? I'm saying it can't be generalized anymore. It cannot be as simple as one size fits all and, we're going to be okay with it. We're going to be okay with the new next trend that a new celebrity comes out with. Unfortunately, it's not going to be like that anymore. Right? We've advanced so much today that we can find out the exact amount and kind of bacteria that we have in our gut.
Yeah.
We've advanced so much today where we can understand our nutrigenomic profile, which means Payal's sleep cycle is so different from Karishma's sleep cycle. Payal's vitamin 6 vitamin B6, piles, any vitamin profile is so much different from my vitamin profile.
Yeah.
The kind of genetic profile that you have is so different from my genetic profile, right?
Hmm.
And on top of that, the age-old traditional, ancient knowledge, which I love so much, and I also really, really do practice it a lot,
Yeah.
is, as per Ayurveda, we were all never meant to be the same.
Okay.
There is an essence that all of us have, when we talk about prana, when we talk about ojas, when we talk about tejas, it's all different for different people, right? It can't be the same for everyone. Hence, I believe that in today's day and time, real nutrition, real nourishment, and real wellness can only come to you if you are self-aware and you're doing things for your own personal personality, body type, gut type, mind type, nutrigenomic type. Hence, this is what is my definition of, how do we now look at such a vast field of food, nutrition, and wellness?
Yeah. Now, when you put it like that, there are a lot of people who always say, hey, this worked for me, so it should work for you also.
Yeah.
And that's what we've been hearing, because if I tell them, oh, I have a gluten intolerance and it doesn't really suit me, it's like, oh, आपकी मम्मी कुछ बोलती नहीं है आपको, आप इतने सारे नखरे करते हो, आप ऐसे
Really?
Yeah, somebody told me that. I said, why will my mom tell me that आप इतने नखरे की कोई मुझे सूट नहीं हो रहा है तो नहीं हो रहा है.
No.
So I don't know, there are some people who also have their own notions that gluten or lactose is just in your head and it really doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
My take on this is that you're very right. We have so many people come and project their things on us, right? On a day-to-day life, we're talking about food right now, but also something as simple as, talking about our weight, talking about how we're looking, talking about how our hair is looking, talking about how our waist size should be a certain thing, talking about how you should not decide what you want to eat, but you should be eating as per what, they think is the right thing to eat.
Yeah.
Right? It's all a projection, right? All these things are being projected on you because of somebody else.
Yeah.
In these moments, I have realized that the best thing to do is, when you look at that person, in your mind, you have to think, do I want a life, personality, mindset, and understanding of life like this person? If I don't want it, I will not listen to their advice.
Wow. Makes sense.
I have a personal rule. I do not listen or adapt anybody else's mindset, way of life, or way of doing things if I do not aspire, admire the way that they have lived their life, their journey, or what they have finally gotten out of their outcome.
Yeah.
Hence, I do believe that whenever somebody tries to project something at you, just look at their trajectory.
Yeah.
And if you think it's worth it, pay attention to it. And if you think it's not worth it, it genuinely is a waste of your time. Let them waste their time because you are not interested.
Yeah. Yeah, when you just simplified it, because you get annoyed by those thoughts and the way they try to put their baggage on you that no, this is the right way of doing things. Yeah, makes so much sense. Yeah. I'm going to use this.
Yes.
I think it's going to give me a lot of mental peace.
It gives you a lot of peace,
Yeah.
Because when I don't want a life like yours, and I'm not happy with your journey, I'm not happy with your achievements, I'm not happy with the way that you have lived your life, I don't want a life like yours, why will I listen to you?
Yeah.
Why will I pay attention to any criticism that you put across to me?
Yeah.
It's useless.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Wow. Loved it. Okay. So, we've all heard psychologists, but this is the first time that I've come across health psychologist. If you could elaborate on what health psychologist means, I think it would give me a much more clearer picture, and for a tribe community to understand what does a health psychologist mean. I mean, it gives me a understanding with two words, ki acha, health and psychology. But when you combine both of them, I think the whole trajectory changes. Yeah.
Great question. Thank you for asking me this.
Yeah.
It's a new and upcoming field.
Okay.
let me explain it to you in a very simple way, right? We've always looked at our mind and our body as two different entities.
Right.
Everyone's doing research and understanding because they're so big. It's legit, right?
Yeah.
It's vast. The physiological part of things and the mental part of things are so vast, you know. And now, you know, what we've realized is that they both have such a strong connection. With more and more research, with more and more practice from doctors, researchers, healthcare practitioners, anybody and everybody in this industry, right? We have understood that the mind, the brain, and our body is connected to each other in ways that we cannot even, you know, understand.
Yeah.
Something as simple as the gut and the brain axis, right? The gut microbiome and the brain axis that is there, right? Something as simple as how the absorption of certain nutrients can affect the way that our hormones are being facilitated, right? It's a vast field. And, you know, now with health psychology, what happens is we've understood that health and nutrition is not about only diet plans anymore.
Okay.
How is it possible that I give you a piece of paper and write in a meal plan and you are going to be able to follow this for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
There is more intervention needed. There is more understanding needed over here. There is more counseling and there is more personalization needed with the client now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hence the field of health psychology. So what happens in health psychology is that it's a beautiful amalgamation of your physiological aspects, social aspects, psychological aspects, your environment, every single thing that will affect you from a more larger perspective, right? And we're also putting it down into a simplest way of using it for day-to-day lifestyle and wellness. Something as simple as we do know that everybody has a different behavior style and everybody has a different personality style, right? As per psychology and a lot of famous psychologists, we've understood that there are personality types. Hence, everybody's reaction to certain things, everybody's communication style, everybody's relationship style, everybody's motivation factor is going to be so different from one another. And when we infuse these things in our well-being practice, in our lifestyle motivation practice, it changes things for the opposite person where they're like, oh, so you're trying to tell me that I don't need to wake up early in the morning? But my friends and my family have been trying to tell me that I need to wake up every day in the morning and do things early in the morning. Unfortunately, what we've realized through, you know, a lot of investigation, understanding, counseling, psychometric tests as well, right? And your own biotic nutrigenomic tests, we've understood this. You will not be performing well in the morning. You are a more higher performer towards the evening.
Yeah. How can you change that? Yeah.
Right? So what I'm saying is that there's a lot of new research coming out. We're still doing a lot of research. I am a research head. I'm constantly doing a lot of research. I presented my research at the American Society for Nutrition in last year as well. In Chicago. And it was on personalized nutritional behavior as well. And I believe that there's so much more that will unfold now in the future. Because we're into data tracking and we're into, you know, understanding, you know, how technology is working with well-being as well. Hence, I feel like this field is opening now. And I am extremely excited about it, right? I have entered it from a counseling and a mixing of health perspective to it. And I feel like now for the future of well-being, nutrition, fitness, the future is also having a very large section dedicated to health psychology.
Wow. I think there is a lot to be, like, endless possibilities that can happen in this.
Yes, that's why knowledge is so beautiful, no? That it's like this well that just keeps, like, you know, it's just deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And learning should never stop, I believe.
Yeah. Wonderful. So, if you could explain, what does nutrition mean in terms of preconception? So, suppose I'm 33 now. So, a 33-year-old girl comes to you. She asks you that I'm planning to conceive, I'm planning to have a baby. A lot of people are like, what? I drank, I smoke, and we had healthy babies. Not a problem. It's okay. Or there are some people like, no, we didn't have like a kind of lifestyle that you're saying, or the kind of nutrition that you are saying that you need to follow. It's not necessary. We delivered babies, right? हमारे ज़माने में तो पहले तो ऐसा होता था. इतना सब कुछ तो nutrition करने की कुछ ज़रूरत थी नहीं.
Yeah.
So, is there, what is preconcept, like this nutrition in preconception, what does it mean, and is it really necessary? Does it help for the baby and for the mother?
Fantastic question. There is a lot of high infertility rate now.
Yeah.
Right. I've been seeing not just with my own clients,
Hmm.
but when I interact a lot with doctors as well, right?
Hmm.
So it could be gynacs, it could be endocrinologists
Yeah.
as well, right?
Yeah.
I've been talking to, listening to, doing research, and also from personal practice of clients.
Hmm.
I have realized that there are very high rates of infertility now in women.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into this whole stage of like there is a particular age to conceive. Unfortunately, that conversation has left the building long ago, because we're in a different era, we're in a different time, women want different things, we have different goals, ambitions, and I believe that we should do what we want to do, right?
Yeah.
Having said that, for the women who want to conceive, for the women who want to have babies and who are planning pregnancies, there are certain factors which are very important for them to realize that your body has to have certain kind of a preparation,
Okay.
at least 1 to 2 years before you finally decide to get pregnant.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. Because then this whole conversation about infertility,
Yeah.
multiple rounds of going to the gynac,
Okay.
or probably going to an IVF clinic,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And probably not understanding why you are not naturally conceiving.
Yeah.
That possibility becomes less.
Yeah. Okay.
For a woman, her body, I think for everybody, but because the question is for women, right? For women, their body is not just it's not just a mechanism that is regulating things for them. For a woman, the body is genuinely the temple.
Yeah.
And I believe that the more we as women start respecting our body,
Yeah.
treating it in the right way, the more it'll reward us. I've seen cases where a lot of women do years of deprivation diets, starvation diets, trying to fit into a certain body image that the world has projected on them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You can look, I have this thing, you can look beautiful, you can look radiant and beautiful with a full body if you have strength in your body.
Yeah.
I think what's really important for women to shift their mindset, preconception also, right? Do I have the strength in my body to carry this baby?
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody's talking about that. Yeah.
Because that's what it will be needed the most. Our mind is something which tells us that, okay, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. You're a multitasker. You can ace everything. You are a go-getter. Our mind is telling us these things.
Also, I think the society is telling us all these things, that as a female, you can multitask and you are supposed to do all these things. Women can have it all. I think it's from there, all of these things are like just projected on us. That kar loge yaar, you can manage work, you can manage career, you can manage baby, everything. You kar sakte ho aap.
Yes.
And that's why we all are trying to just fit in.
Yes. The question that nobody is asking, ye karna hai kya?
Yeah.
कर तो सब सकते हैं.
हाँ.
But the thing is,
करना है.
do we really want to do it all?
Yeah.
And let's say even if you want to do it all, the body has limitations. You will reach burnout. You will have hormonal fluctuations.
Yeah.
Because of non-regulation of emotions, there will be a lot of different kinds of inflammatory and hormonal issues in your body.
Yeah.
Because of a lot of, deprivation diets, there will be gut health problems. There will be problems where you are fatigued all the time.
Yeah.
There will be anemia. There will be low levels of iron and B12 and D3. Calcium as well for women, right? I feel like whenever a woman is ready to conceive, give yourself 1 year at least.
Okay.
Not outward focus, inward focus. Complete inward focus. So you know how everyone says that the 9 months that the mother is pregnant are so vital,
Yeah.
and she needs all the love, care, and attention. I want to add to this. 1 year prior the pregnancy, while the pregnancy, and 1 year post pregnancy.
Okay. Yeah.
These 3 years are a make or break for women.
Yeah.
And this is when she needs the most amount of true love and care.
Yeah.
The whole inward attention thing.
Yeah.
Not just from others, but from yourself as well. You will have to be selfish.
Yeah.
You will have to put your whole attention onto yourself, because if you don't do that, there are repercussions of it.
Yeah.
This 1 year pre-pregnancy, if you do not take care of your body, do not work out, do not eat well, do not take the right kind of vitamins, do not work on your mental health, do not de-stress, do not look after your emotional self, do not have healthy relationships and support in your life, your pregnancy is going to be difficult.
Yeah.
There are cases of gestational diabetes.
Yeah.
There are cases of thyroid coming up in pregnancy. There are cases of complete bed rest in pregnancy. There are cases of a lot of pain, discomfort, nausea, to add to the top of it in recent day pregnancies now.
Yeah. People are like, I think, having morning sickness till the 5th, 6th, 7th month sometimes. Yeah. That could be controlled.
It can be prevented. If there is a morning sickness episode, which most women go through, there has to be a root cause of it.
Yeah.
There has to be certain reasons why it's happening. And if we find that out, we can ease it. We can make it lighter. We can make it better.
Yeah.
Then maybe it doesn't have to last for 5 months. Maybe if it is there, we can get through it with a shorter time period and with you being more at ease.
Yeah.
And then this whole conversation comes up of, once you've given birth to the baby, every woman, admitted or not, goes through postpartum. There is an episode of postpartum. You want to call it postpartum depression. You want to call it postpartum anxiety. You want to call it postpartum care. Give it any name. It basically means that she's not going to feel like herself for a very long time.
Yeah.
And you know what happens when we don't feel like ourselves, right? Just nothing makes sense.
Yeah.
Even without a child, if I had to tell you to remember one time in your life where you didn't feel like yourself, how would you feel?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, nothing. I don't feel like doing anything. Like, there's no purpose in life. Like, what difference does it make if I just get up or pick up a glass of water? I don't even want to drink water. Like, it's just worthless.
And in a period where you're not feeling like yourself, there is caretaking of another life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you understand how deeply everything is so integrated. Hence, what I'm saying is that for any woman who is planning to get into pregnancy, to become pregnant, to have a baby, please focus 1 year inward attention on yourself before having the baby. While the pregnancy, of course, everybody is going to take a lot of care of you.
Yeah.
And you have to make sure that you have help, support, love, and care post delivering a baby as well.
Yeah.
Because you are going to be there for the baby, you will need people for you.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Because I think the whole attention is also shifted towards the baby.
Yes.
She is left alone. What about her?
Yes. And I don't want to leave, sometimes it becomes too much of this fact where, we're only talking about the mother, right? Oh, but there is a father as well, and there is parents also, right? There's so many things, right? I also want to say another thing. I want to add this, right? Because I have also, in my personal experience of working with clients, I've also noticed this. It's quite a difficult journey for the father as well.
It is, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's a higher sense of responsibility.
Yeah.
It's more mental load, because now there is an entire new life that he is responsible for as well.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm saying not just women, but men also go through so much of emotional shift, so much of, and believe it or not, there is a hormonal shift in men as well after the baby arrives.
Okay.
Not just women.
Yeah.
Physiologically, it shifts for men as well, right?
Okay.
Just looking at the baby, holding the baby. And that's one of the reasons why, scientifically, we are talking about the fact where the baby needs to spend time with the father equally as the mother, because the hormonal exchange is happening between the father and the child as well.
Okay.
And another thing that I've realized is that relationships between the couple after the baby.
Yeah. That goes for a toss sometimes.
It always goes for a toss. It always shifts. It always changes, right? Because what you mentioned, that now the attention is a baby. The attention now is not the husband and wife anymore. The attention not is that you didn't do this for me, or you didn't do this for me, or you forgot to do this. That attention is not there.
Yeah.
Now complete focus is there on a third person.
Yeah.
Hence what happens is that either one of the partners or both the partners can feel neglected, can feel forgotten, can feel like they are the only one who is taking more responsibility.
Yeah.
Hence, I also feel that let's not forget that the baby will be important, the mother will be important, but your marriage is going to be top priority.
Yeah. Never forget that. Yeah.
Please don't forget that.
Yeah.
Healthy husband, healthy wife is a double happy and healthy baby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this preconception conversation, whenever I have a preconception conversation with any mother or any couple, I'm saying let's talk about both of them.
Yeah.
Let's look at health parameters of the to-be mother, of the to-be father. Let's talk about the mental health condition, emotional health condition of the to-be mother, to-be father, because this is what is going to determine the health of the baby.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, this is a conversation that every couple needs to have before they start planning a baby.
So do you see any common nutritional deficiencies where female come to you when they're planning their pregnancy?
Yes.
Yeah.
The first one and the top on the list is iron. 80% of women who come in have iron deficiency.
Okay. And why does that happen?
Because of bad food choices. If you go to see, a lot of women are not consuming, iron-rich food or any kind of supplements or any kind of, nutrient value that is coming from direct iron sources.
Okay.
They're not consuming it on a day-to-day basis. On top of this as well, consuming food products which are negating the iron that you have in your body also. Let's talk about, yes, we're in an era and zone where every second person you meet is a coffee addict.
Guilty.
Everyone's drinking so much of tea and so much of coffee. We need to understand that if we drink a lot of caffeine, if we have a lot of caffeine, it actually reduces the amount of iron that we have in our body. It reduces and cuts out iron and vitamin C, which indeed is needed for women.
Oh, okay.
So, there are these complexities that are there as well. So the first one that I see is iron. The second one that I see is very, very common, of course, not just in women, but in the entire population, is vitamin D3, right? Again, because of less sun exposure, not having the right kind of supplements at the right time, right? The third one, again, very, very important, especially from the baby's health perspective also, is vitamin B12. B12 is very important, and most women who come in have low levels of B12 as well, because a lot of people, if they're vegetarian or vegan, they don't take supplements, so they don't know the right way to go through things, right?
Yeah.
Hence, they don't have efficient levels of B12. And the fourth one that I would like to mention is folate. Folate is extremely essential for women and pregnancy as well. So if you would go to any gynac or if you go to any nutritionist dietitian for a consultation before planning your pregnancy, folate is something that you need to start at least 3 to 6 months prior to conception.
Okay.
It is for the baby's neural health.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah. And so what happens to those females who don't, or those couples who are planning the pregnancy and there's like an unplanned pregnancy? What do you do in those cases? Like, I'm really curious, and I'm like wondering what happens to the nutritions, like the B12, the folate, because those all things are necessary for the baby's development.
Yeah. Whenever there is an unplanned pregnancy, usually what would happen is that there would be immediate, as soon as the doctor finds out that the lady has conceived, there is immediate intervention, which means that all the vitamins and all the needed things will be started on the spot for her.
Okay.
So in case there is any kind of deficiency found, right,
Mm-hmm.
or any kind of needed vitamins that you have to take during pregnancy, like I mentioned, folate, B12, things like that, those will be started immediately for you. So if you can't do it before, and if it's an unplanned pregnancy, there is immediate intervention that is done.
Okay, got it. And could you explain, like, since you were talking about the gut and the brain axis, uh, if you could explain the mind and body connection and how essential is it for a girl who is planning to conceive?
I think it's the most essential, because my right frame of mind is so important, right? I've always said this is also one of the reasons why, like from an educational background, there has been so much that I have, put my journey into, right?
Yeah.
From nutrition to mental health to spiritual aspects of things, right? To emotional health practices as well. There is a reason why I have studied so much and I apply it now in the kind of, work that I do, is because every single ailment, every single disorder, every single next level up that we need in life, right? Is connected to the way that our mind and our mind frame is connected to the way that our emotional health is.
Okay.
If you had to run a marathon today,
Yeah.
let's say, for example, if you had to run a marathon in 2 days and people around you were constantly telling you that, I don't think you will be able to make it. I don't think you'll be able to run that well. I don't think, you have that much strength in your body to run that marathon. Forget it. Don't do it. That's the external voice. Maybe now there is an internal voice that tells you that, am I really okay to run this marathon? What if I get tired in the middle and I just give up? Will I be okay with facing this failure?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, what you've done is that emotionally now you're in a negative state. In this emotional negative state, if you went and even ran the marathon, there is a higher chance that what you perceived is possible.
Yeah.
If we flip this, and if there was positivity and a more stronger mindset before you went for the marathon, even if you were tired, even if you wanted to give up in the middle of it, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
And there would be a higher probability of you going through and completing this marathon.
Right.
The reason I gave you this example is because this is the life. This is life. This marathon that I'm talking about is life. With pregnancy as well.
Yeah.
If you are around, or if you are in a toxic environment, if you're constantly around negativity, if you yourself have negative self-talk about yourself, if you are feeling emotionally repressed, if you are feeling emotionally suppressed, and you go into a pregnancy, you're not going to have a nice experience.
Yeah.
It's definitely not going to be a nice journey for you. And then we flip this, and we go in with a lot of positivity, we go in with a lot of good strength, we go in with a lot of preparation, we go in with a lot of healthy mindset. That journey ends up becoming beautiful. Of course it's going to be tough. Of course it's going to not be a cakewalk. But it will be something that is going to be a positive experience for you. It will be something where you push through it in a more happier state of mind. Hence, this question of yours is crucial. Emotional health, mental health is above anything else before planning a pregnancy or while you are pregnant.
Yeah. Because what happens is, when we're planning, we go through a lot of it happened with me also. Like, I'm going and I'm scrolling, and I see all the negative things about pregnancy, how complicated it is, and I'm like, oh God, this is so painful. I don't think I can do this. I don't think I'm cut out for this. And then I'm discussing all the aspects with couple. It's like, see, aisa bhi hota hai, waisa bhi hota hai, aisa bhi hota hai. Couple is like, why do you always talk only about the negatives?
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, internet pe acha, these days, I don't know, I feel like there's like a lot of negativity out there.
Yes.
I can't find like a lot of positive out there.
Yes.
And that's the reason I wanted to start Sukoon, because I wanted to talk about the positivity also, that it is possible. You can do a career, you can have motherhood, you can also balance all things, but with boundaries. And when you have a tribe together who is there to listen to you, who is there to help you out, I think your life is much more simpler and easier.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. Firstly, great job on starting Sukoon as well.
Yeah.
I feel like we need more safe spaces to be able to speak about things that really matter.
Yeah.
You are right about the fact that, on the internet and in general life, the levels of negativity, the levels of, a lot of condescending talk, the levels of a lot of hatred
Yeah.
is very high
Very.
as compared to love, compassion, understanding, positivity, right?
Yeah.
I want to add to this as well. As women, right? And this goes for men as well. Okay. Our whole understanding of parenting, our whole understanding of pregnancy, our whole understanding of, the journey also comes a lot because of the conditioning that we've had.
Yeah.
We always associated with what our parents did for us. We always associated with our childhood days. We always associated with the way that we look at our parents, and we've looked at our parents at a younger age and we look at our parents now.
Yeah.
When you mentioned that sometimes when you go through these things, there are some negative thoughts in your mind.
Yeah.
It also stems from this.
Oh, okay.
That in our mind, we still are looking at the way that we will have to perform. I call it a performance. The way that we will have to perform the way that they performed.
Right.
Where the conversation needs to shift and also our mindset needs to shift is that if we have a baby and we enter this new era and new age of parenthood, we will make our own sets of rituals. We will make our own sets of parenthood ways of doing things, right? We will make our own way of raising our children.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a pattern that has been set for us.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a performance that we saw through.
Yeah.
The new age children, call it alpha age, beta age, call it whatever you want to write.
Yeah.
But they don't need the kind of parenting that we had. They need a different kind of parenting now.
Exactly. Yeah.
And what we need to do now is not look at our parents and their parenting as a foundation.
Yeah.
We need to create our own foundation. We need to set new ways of doing things. And we need to also do this whole thing where our understanding, our own intuition of parenting will have to be more stronger than the outside noise.
Yeah.
And hence, this is the lens that you look at your personal journey of how to begin parenthood.
Yeah.
I always say this, that whenever you are planning a pregnancy, you and your husband together should have an understanding, should have a conversation about the kind of environment you want your home to be.
Yeah.
The kind of foundation you want to set for your child. What is the educative journey that you would like to give your child? What is the adventure journey that you would like to give your child? How are you going to nourish your child creatively?
Yeah.
What are the sets of skills that you would like to give your child? And above it all, what kind of examples are you going to be for your child?
Yeah.
I think a lot of us are disappointed in a way that maybe our parents couldn't be the best examples for us. Maybe they couldn't guide us in the way that we wanted them to guide us.
Yeah.
A lot of our generation comes from this as well.
Yeah.
But we do not have to repeat these patterns.
Yeah.
We do not have to do the same things.
Yeah.
We get a choice to shift this entire scale.
Yeah.
We get a choice to break this whole generational trauma or generational way of doing things, and we get to do things in our way.
Yeah.
And I think that's the lens that we should start looking parenthood as.
Yeah. So we talk a lot about gut health these days. What are some easy ways to improve your gut health if you're planning to conceive?
The first one would be remove the foods that don't suit you. Understand which foods don't suit you and please remove them. If you don't know, get in touch with an expert who can guide you and help you with these things, because your gut is getting really inflamed and it is producing more bad bacteria because of your wrong food choices.
Yeah.
So let's say, for example, such a large population in our country does not know that they have lactose intolerance.
Yeah.
And they're consuming, milk by the liters, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying, see, if you don't have lactose intolerance, continue having whatever you want to have. But if you can find out and you're having some digestive issues because of these things, and you get to know that this is a phenomenon, then implement it.
Yeah.
Because you will see the results of it then.
Yeah.
So the first step is that.
Okay.
That remove things that do not suit your gut. The second thing is, start consuming foods which have more fiber.
Okay.
Our gut loves fiber.
Okay.
So it's very important for us to consume at least a small amount of fiber in all our meals. It could be in the form of sauteed vegetables, it could be in the form of a salad, it could be in the form of, adding seeds and nuts to our foods. It could be in the form of, adding more, let's say, for example, more vegetables to our daily food items. It could be in the form of eating good quality of good carbohydrates as well, right? I call it the good carbs, millets also. So I'm saying fiber is important for your gut.
Okay.
Right? Now, and the third thing that I feel is that the gut is very sensitive.
Yeah.
It is very sensitive. So no, don't aggravate it in any way. Which means that you have to control your lifestyle habits.
Yeah.
What does that mean? If you drink a lot of alcohol, the gut is going to get irritated. If you consume a lot of acidic food, your gut is going to get irritated. If you consume a lot of caffeine, your gut is going to be irritated. This is the flow of things.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, if you realize कि कुछ खाने पीने से डायरिया हो जाता है, या if you realize that whenever I eat a certain thing, I feel discomfort after this, right? Reduce those things, have lesser of those things. This is where I say, intuition needs to kick in.
Yeah.
Your own common sense needs to kick in.
Yeah.
Right? So these are the first 3 steps, starting 3 steps to do to understand your gut.
Okay.
Because if you don't understand it, how do you help it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And girls who have PCOS or endometriosis, it's quite painful for them. And I know that you're like an hormone expert. Like, I don't know anyone else on this earth who understands hormones so wonderfully. You will just explain each and everything कि ये hormone ऐसा है, ये है, and that's why you need to have this, and this will help you get everything back on track. And that's why anyone I meet, any girl I meet, they ask me like, who do we consult, who do we talk to? And you're the first name that pops onto my head.
Thank you. That's so sweet. Thank you.
So how can a girl with PCOS or endometriosis actually solve that problem? And in terms of nutrition, how can she benefit?
PCOS and endometriosis is very rampant now.
Yeah.
Every second, third girl will have some or the other symptoms of it. And I'm saying, even if you do not want to plan pregnancy, if you realize that you are somebody who has PCOS or endometriosis, you need to start looking into it. Because the end goal can't be pregnancy. If that is one of your goals, it's fantastic. But I think, they come with these disorders come with so many uncomfortable symptoms.
Yeah.
Which reduces the quality of life for you as a woman.
Yeah.
Let's name a few of them. Acne.
Yeah.
Which woman has ever said that she's okay with having acne on her face? It affects your self-esteem.
It does. Yeah.
Hair thinning, which is so rampant now, and you see these hundreds of brands now trying to kind of give you products to reduce your hair fall. But to be really honest, hair fall is an internal aspect. If you do not investigate and solve what's going wrong with your hormones, your thyroid hormone, your iron, things like that internally, no matter how much topical ailments that you put, it's not going to help you.
Yeah.
Right? Acne, hair thinning, stubborn weight gain, not being able to lose weight easily.
Yeah.
There is a spectrum. Having a lot of hunger, or then not feeling hungry at all and skipping meals. There is a spectrum that all women go through.
Yeah.
A lot of pain for a lot of women. Vaginal dryness for a lot of women, right?
Yeah.
Constant UTIs. So many women with PCOS and endometriosis constantly complain that we get UTIs so easily. And having a UTI for a woman is not a nice experience.
Not. It's terrible. It's terrible. It gives you so much discomfort.
So I'm saying, these are just few of the symptoms that I've mentioned from a plethora of them. I'm saying it's reducing your quality of life as a woman.
Yeah.
Not just aesthetic value, but also your day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Productivity levels.
Yeah.
So if you are going to conceive, 100% work on these things. But even if you don't have any plans of conceiving and you find out that you have PCOS, endometriosis, thyroid fluctuations, please focus on it and try to find a solution to it, because it will enhance your quality of life.
Yeah.
You will feel much more confident, you will have more strength in your body, and you will be more happier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
One of the things to do is your insulin hormone in both endometriosis and in PCOS, and as a matter of fact, thyroid fluctuations as well, because so many women are now coming up with thyroid dysfunction.
Yeah. Yeah.
The starting factor, the key factor is the balance of the insulin hormone.
Okay.
Whenever we have a fluctuation in the insulin hormone as women, there will be fluctuations in our period cycle. There will be fluctuations in our weight. There will be fluctuations in the way that our thyroid hormone is going to work. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm saying, please pay more attention to the insulin factor in your body. You have to regulate your blood sugar levels. Get your basic blood panel done, which means fasting insulin, post meals insulin, your glucose, fasting glucose, HbA1c. These are some basic tests that you find out what your levels are at.
Okay.
Once you found this out and you've understood that yes, you are a person who has insulin resistance, which means that the insulin is not working very well, right? Or you are somebody who has PCOS, or you are somebody who has the other ailments that we mentioned.
Yeah.
Now you have to get to work and you have to shift things for yourself. What are the steps to do this? How do you balance your blood sugar levels?
Yeah.
And how do you start? The first thing is, all girls, please don't skip meals. Skipping meals, not eating enough for your body, eating very small portion sizes is a big no-no. Starvation of any kind is going to put your body into a larger problem. So starvation of any kind, deprivation of any kind is a big no-no.
Okay.
Please eat food.
Yeah.
It's very important for you to eat designated meals in the entire day which give you nutrition. The second thing is, please include protein and fiber in all meals.
Okay.
From your breakfast, lunch, dinner to a snack, anything that you choose to eat, all the meals that you're eating in a day should mandatorily have one source of protein and one source of fiber in it, along with the other complex carbohydrates, good fats, I'm saying.
Okay.
But we usually forget about protein and fiber.
Yeah.
Hence, these are mandatory. So that's the second step.
Okay.
The third step, and very, very important, sleep.
Okay. There are a lot of people who say, I can survive on 6 hours sleep. I can survive on 5 hours sleep.
Do you want to survive or do you want to flourish?
Yeah.
Is what I always ask. If you want to survive, continue surviving the way that you are surviving. But if you want to flourish, you'll have to change things. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hence, sleep for women with any of these hormonal conditions that I just spoke to you about is like magic. You know, our body can only recover in the best way possible when we sleep.
Yeah.
When we get good, deep, restful sleep. Our emotions are much more in control.
Yeah.
We are more calmer. We are more in tune with our hunger.
Yeah.
When we sleep well. What I'm trying to say is that if as women we're not sleeping well, we're compromising on sleep. We're not getting our 7 to 8 hours of deep, restful sleep. We ourselves are reducing our quality of life.
Yeah.
So that's the third thing.
Okay.
And the fourth thing, which again is very, very debatable, I know, but I need to say it. Stop pressurizing yourself to do things. Okay. Stop overburdening yourself. Stop expecting more out of yourself. You are enough.
Yeah.
To all the women out there, in whatever roles that they are playing, in whatever age they are in, you are enough. Physically, mentally, emotionally, aesthetically, beautifully,
yeah,
you are enough.
Yeah.
I don't know how much more I need to say this.
Yeah. It's sad that, I mean, we read motivational quotes. We hear a lot of people who are talking about it. We read books. We read self-help books. But it's, I think you always feel that, no, I'm not enough. I need to do more. I need to do more.
And that's wreaking a havoc on your hormones.
Yeah. We don't even realize that actually, that it's actually creating problems with our hormones.
Let's explain this to you how this happens, not just because I'm saying it, but let's explain it to you from a physiological perspective. When we're really stressed, we have a hormone known as cortisol.
Yeah.
Cortisol is a stress hormone. When we talk about fight and flight mode, right? The meaning of fight and flight mode is that your body will produce more cortisol.
Okay.
Now, in a woman's case, as soon as there is high level of cortisol, because the body is a beautiful, beautiful mechanism, right? It's always trying to protect us. I believe that the body does nothing to harm us in any way, We are harming the body. The body is always trying to protect us by doing something or the other preventive from within itself.
Yeah.
So, every time cortisol increases for us as women, because we're stressed, we put too much pressure on ourselves, we're reaching burnouts, we're not sleeping well, we're not eating well, we're trying to live up to, standards which should have not been there in the first place.
Yeah.
Not content and satisfied with ourselves, right?
Yeah.
As soon as cortisol increases, it starts affecting the other hormones as well. Because one hormone fluctuation, I call it the whole egg basket.
Yeah.
One egg will break all the others.
Oh, huh.
Cortisol on the higher end increases testosterone levels for us as women, which is actually a male hormone. We're supposed to have testosterone, but in a limited quantity.
Okay.
As soon as that increases, then we start having, issues with our overall, let's say, for example, the most common one, acne, unwanted facial hair, more hair thinning,
Yeah.
more weight gain around our midriff,
Yeah.
right? These are all symptoms of PCOS. Higher testosterone levels also leads to then final increase in fluctuation of insulin, right? So I'm saying, you see how this is a cycle?
Yeah.
Cortisol, testosterone, insulin, then insulin affecting your thyroid levels, the TSH going out of whack, and all this finally coming to us in a way where we feel like shit all the time. In spite of us doing so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hence,
Yeah.
the fact that the pointers that I told you are so important for us when we find out that we have a disorder of some sort. It's so important for us to begin our journey through these things and start balancing out these things.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to come to that point where I've seen so many girls. I know, like, girls are maybe going to hate me for whatever I say right now, but whenever I see a girl who's smoking these days, people are like vaping like anything. Even like when I'm on set, most of the crew, girls, boys, everyone is just vaping, smoking. I just want to go and, like, boys, I'm like, okay, I don't care. But for girls, I'm like, please, please don't do it. It's affecting you a lot. But then they come to that debate like it's my body, my choice. And as a girl, you're trying to fit into this thing that, we can also do like a man's job. And to feel like a man, and also there's like a lot of stress, so we need this. But eventually what is happening in the body, because externally तो दिख नहीं रहा है ना, जो हो रहा है वो अंदर हो रहा है. So for us humans, until and unless it's not visually, you can't see it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What would you like to tell, like, girls, any advice on smoking, vaping? How does it actually impact you?
Smoking in general, for male, female, for anybody, is extremely harmful.
Yeah.
And I say this because I'm not even saying anymore about, how it is harmful for your body. Yes, it is harmful for your body. It is toxic for your lungs.
Yeah.
It is a very bad element for the way that, your overall body is going to respond to certain immune factors as well, right? But let's not talk about that for a minute. There are hundreds and hundreds of studies and so many psychiatrists and so many neurologists and so many neurosurgeons who have come and spoken on platforms as well and said that smoking is damaging your brain.
Okay.
I'm saying focusing on your physical aspect is one thing.
Yeah.
The only thing that's actually navigating, overworking, doing everything for you is your brain.
Yeah.
And if that gets damaged, your body is a vegetable. Hence, what I'm trying to prove a point over here is that because I also come from a background where I am studying the brain, I am studying the neurological factors, I am studying the way that the neurological pathways are working, right?
Okay.
I want to tell you guys that anybody smoking is damaging not just their body, but they are damaging their brain. And the thing with the brain is, again, just like the body, it supports us a lot.
Yeah.
It constantly supports us through everything. But we have a new epidemic going on,
Yeah.
which is very important to speak about. There are diseases, disorders of the brain that are now rampant and coming to the forefront.
Okay.
Dementia, Alzheimer's is a very, very real phenomenon.
Okay.
In fact, when I was in Chicago, for when I presented my research paper at the American Society for Nutrition and at these conferences, for 4 days at a stretch, the hottest topic of discussion was Alzheimer's being the new diabetes type 3.
Oh, really? That's insane.
Our cognitive value is something that we take pride in as human beings. That we're the intelligent species. Our brains work like magic. Unfortunately, cognitive decline is on the way. These health disorders that I'm talking to you about, and also one of the reasons why my interest in learning, understanding the brain, the neurological system, the way that, our mind works, functions, stems from this aspect that every single thing which is damaging our body is also silently damaging our brain.
Okay.
So, we're talking about things like excessive smoking, excessive alcohol, a lot of vaping, a lot of, recreational drugs,
Hookah.
a lot of shisha, a lot of, marijuana consumption, right?
Yeah.
A lot of chemical drugs as well, which
Do you
speaking
think
about
coffee falls under it?
to a certain degree when coffee is misused, as I said. People are also getting addicted to caffeine now, right?
Yeah.
And you don't know it, but you can be a high tolerant caffeine consumption person, or you can be a low caffeine consumption person. It's a phenomenon which we have understood now with the help of epigenetics and nutrigenomics.
Okay.
That people fall under categories where you can be a fast metabolizer of caffeine, or you can be a slow metabolizer of caffeine.
Achha.
So, in most cases, for some people who are fast metabolizers of caffeine, when you drink coffee, it is working for you. It's a healthy version for you, but of course in limit. That if you fall under the category of a slow metabolizer of caffeine, the coffee that you're drinking is harming you.
Oh.
It is increasing your heart rate, it is causing palpitation, it is giving you anxiety, it is keeping you on edge, it is making you jittery, it is causing sleep disruptions. In such a case, you are not supposed to be consuming a lot of caffeine. Hence, your question that, does that also fall under this category? Yes, it also falls under this category. Anything in overconsumption, right, is harmful for us. And then we wonder why something like balance and why something like equilibrium is so difficult for us. Of course, because it is the most difficult for us.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, you know what, don't look at all these things anymore from only the physical aspect. I'm telling you, it is affecting your brain, it is causing cognitive decline, it is leading to diseases which are irreversible. diseases of the brain like Alzheimer's and dementia are they don't have a cure, and they're irreversible.
Yeah.
And they're happening on the rampant now to people.
Yeah.
So you know how cancer used to be this thing where you knew what cancer is, and you knew that people could get cancer, but it wasn't happening in your close circles. And today we look at cancer, and it's happening in all our close circles.
It is.
And it is a very sad way of looking at people's health spectrum also, that now cancer is such a common disease.
Yeah.
That is happening in families very close to us, in our own families, to relatives as well.
Yeah.
The same thing with cognitive decline, the same thing with dementia, and the same thing with Alzheimer's. In the years to come, we're going to find this as a very common phenomenon because of our habits today, because of the kinds of overindulgences that we're doing today.
Okay. So it's like we discussed all of these things, which are addictions, which are not good for, in general, for any gender.
Yeah.
And if a girl is trying to conceive, she's been smoking, suppose, for the past 3-4 years, and if she's trying to conceive now, does that 3-4 years thing affect her fertility?
If her husband has also been smoking for 3-4 years, and if she's also been smoking for 3-4 years, it will affect both their fertility. So I would like to put a little light on this, that male fertility is also on a decline. Testosterone levels, good sperm quality in men is also on a decline.
Yeah.
What is the culprit? Of course, bad lifestyle, food and everything is to blame, but also smoking and alcohol being so prevalent and easily accepted in men is causing a decline in the male hormones as well, in the male fertility levels as well. So I'm saying, as a woman, if you are smoking, or if you are drinking a lot, or if there are these kinds of indulgences that are there, you will have to get off this.
Yeah.
You'll have to start looking into a healthier lifestyle for yourself. What we began with, strength, create more strength and more stamina, more agility in your body.
Yeah.
But as a husband, as a father to be, and as a man, you will have to focus on these things as well, because your sperm quality is more affecting the pregnancy than the egg quality. So I'm saying, like, if your husband, if your boyfriend, or if your partner is smoking, drinking, doing recreational drugs, there is a conversation, and you guys are going to plan a family, you need to have a conversation together. Because not only you, but he also needs to get his act together and stop all these things and get into a more healthier pattern of lifestyle, for the sake of not just the baby's health, but as I said, the parents are the largest role models for the child.
Yeah.
It doesn't end only in 3 years, right?
Yeah.
It's a lifelong journey now with the child.
Yeah.
How will you have the stamina? How will you have the strength to run around with your child?
Yeah.
Hence, the mother, the to-be mother and the to-be father, if they have been smokers, drinkers, or recreational drug users, need to start shifting their patterns, need to look into their health in a more focused way before they plan a pregnancy.
Okay. I want to ask you 2 questions. Both are quite related to each other. When a couple, a partner, like a partnership, they are planning to conceive or trying to conceive, a lot of people go with this thing where the society tells them to have a baby to fix a relationship. And a lot of people do it. A lot of people regret it. And the second is, do you think that having a baby is easy on the partnership? How does it impact mentally on their relationship as a couple?
That is a great question. And I think a lot of couples also need to talk about this. I'm going to give you my view on this, right? First question that you asked me is that, yes, it affects the entire relationship a lot, right? And I think both the partners have to not only physically, mentally, but also emotionally be very connected to each other before they plan a pregnancy. Because as I said, that process, that entire journey is not only going to take a toll on both of them physically, is going to take a toll on their relationship as well.
Yeah.
Because a woman becomes very hormonal when she's pregnant. She's going to be excessively hormonal after having a baby as well. She will need more love and affection. She will be needing more attention, right?
Yeah.
And the same goes for the man as well. Now he has a heightened sense of responsibility. He feels that he needs to provide a lot more than he used to before. There is a heightened sense of also wherein now I am not just responsible for one life, but I am responsible for two, which, is very, very, it adds to the burden as well, right?
Yeah.
Which the man is somewhere down the line feeling inside.
Yeah.
I'm saying mentally and emotionally, the couple needs to be connected to each other.
Yeah.
Before they start planning a pregnancy. What do I mean by connection?
Yeah.
The society can tell us a lot of things. And as women, we're so used to it now. We're so used to listening to थोड़ा मोटी हो गई क्या, थोड़ी पतली हो गई क्या, बाल ऐसे क्यों है, नया कलर किया है क्या, स्किन कलर थोड़ा ज्यादा काला हो गया है क्या. I'm saying, see, as women, we're so used to people constantly projecting their thoughts and their insecurities on us, right? And it happens even more in the case of pregnancy, having a baby or having a second baby.
Yeah.
It's a non-stop cycle.
Yeah.
So, pehla to I'm saying that if you listen to what people will say, you'll have to keep listening to what they say. So if you're ready to keep listening to them your entire life, then listen to them in the first place.
Yeah.
And if you've decided that no, you want to do things in your way, you want to do things in which you want to do things you want to do things in a way which is intuitively correct for you, then you have to shut the external noise and listen to only yourself and your inner voice.
Yeah.
Then plan the trajectory of what you want to do next as per your intuition.
Yeah.
The first thing about connection in couples, right? Please talk about finances. Please discuss finances.
Yeah. Raising a baby is not easy. You need a lot of money.
Pregnancy and childbirth is just the first step. In today's day and time, raising a baby into an adult is going to require finances.
Yeah.
Hence, as a couple, first thing, after discussing your health, the second thing that you will discuss is your finances.
Yeah.
How are you going to manage your finances as parents? Do we have enough finances to become parents?
Yeah.
If we become parents, how are we going to be managing different phases of the child's life? I know it sounds like, oh, there's so much of prepping and planning and counseling and everything needed, but it is needed.
Yeah.
Look at what happened at earlier generations when this was not there. Look how much generational trauma and emotional trauma is there and so many people wanting therapy today. Because all this was not done before. Hence, I'm saying that with a new wave of what's coming, let's be really prepared for it.
Yeah.
So I know for people who feel like this is so overwhelming, it'd rather be overwhelming than a burden in the future.
Yeah.
I always believe in prevention is better than cure.
Right.
Hence, all this that we will be doing or the couple will be doing is going to be prevention. Rather than later on trying to put bandages onto things which have gotten spoiled.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So health first. Second is finances. The third thing, very important. Please discuss love languages. We assume that our partner's love language is this or it is that.
Right.
And when you are only two people in a relationship, you're also not having a conversation about this and you're also like letting go. Okay, fine. But now when there is going to be a third person in your life, this love language is going to matter a lot because it is going to be your only safe space. It is going to be your only sanctity to maintain that connection in your relationship.
Okay.
So please openly discuss each other's love language. Keep a note of it and practice that after the baby comes. Consciously.
Unlike you don't know me na, like you know what I want or वो तो समझ लेगी या वो समझ लेगा.
But that person is not the same anymore.
Yeah.
She's a mother now. Her hormones have shifted. She's a different person and so has the father. Yeah. He's also changed. He's also shifted. So you're two different people now.
Hmm.
So let's get to know each other again.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
That's very important. And the fourth thing that I would like to say is that please understand that you should be the only major guiding parenting figures for your child. Please do not let external forces, external voices affect your parenting style. And I mean this in a nice way. I mean this in a way where you can get a lot of support from your in-laws, you can get a lot of support from your parents, you can get a lot of support from your friends, you can get a lot of support from your community.
Right.
But it should be limited to support.
Yeah.
It should not interfere with your personal parenting style.
Right.
As a couple, please establish that no other external force will come in the middle of your personal decision making and the way that you are impacting your child and the child's future. Because it is a make or break in a lot of situations I have seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think, as a starting point, when you do these four things as a couple, it's a nice, healthy setup of communication and connection that you have created while pregnancy and post-pregnancy.
Yeah.
As new parents.
Yeah. So I think communication is the key. If you don't have that, I think you are fucked.
Yeah, communication, but also you and me are communicating right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you listen and you do not apply,
yeah,
this communication is of no use.
Yeah.
Our conversation is still a very generic conversation. But when a couple sits down to have a conversation, that conversation needs to be applied after the conversation is over.
Yeah, which doesn't happen.
Yes. Hence, communication, very important, but then the application of that communication is vital. To be able to make that strong relationship.
To make that work.
Yes, to make it work, because it is work.
Yeah.
The way that we put in effort into our business, the way that we put in effort into, our startup, or, we're going to put in effort into our body and the way that we look aesthetically. Relationships, marriage, having a baby, parenthood is work, constant work.
Yeah. True. Yeah. Okay. So we are going to move on to rapid fire questions.
Yes.
And whatever comes to top of your mind, like just blurt it out.
Done.
Okay. So one food that's traditionally restricted during pregnancy that actually has a great nutritional value.
Ripe papaya. So a lot of people will tell you that during pregnancy, don't consume ripe papaya, orange papaya.
Yeah.
However, it has beautiful, nutrients that can help the mother. So in smaller quantities, if it suits you during pregnancy, you can consume ripe papaya as well.
Wow, I didn't know about that. They like you'll have a loss, you'll have abortion, or you might lose the baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's a myth. So, of course, you have to try and understand your own situation. This is not one size fits all, but I'm saying that it's given a bad name.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of women have been able to safely consume a ripe papaya in smaller quantities, and it's been fine for them. It is very nutritionally dense.
Okay. The most overrated pregnancy superfood in India.
Ghee ke laddu.
Yeah.
We were having this conversation earlier, and when you mentioned the gestational diabetes thing you mentioned, ghee and anything made from ghee and ghee ke laddu is this obsessiveness that a lot of people have to feed pregnant women.
Yeah.
Lubrication will be great, and your childbirth will be easy, and your child will have fair skin, etc. Right? However, what people do not understand is that when a woman is pregnant, she's not supposed to be eating double, triple calories.
Yeah.
There is just a small little amount of excess calories that she needs to consume for the health of the baby and for her own nutritional needs at different stages of her pregnancy. consuming a lot of ghee is very rich in fat, will counterattack this. It will end up being small food portions, but with very high fat and very high calorie density.
Yeah.
Hence, you cannot be feeding a pregnant woman constantly ghee-based products or ghee ke laddu or anything in the name of ghee.
Yeah.
You have to consume it, but you have to consume it in a small quantity.
Okay.
Every day. So for me, it would be this one.
Yeah, because ये होता है कि अरे अब तो आपको 2 के लिए खाना पड़ेगा, अब तो ज़्यादा खाना पड़ेगा.
No, and that is also another myth.
Yeah.
Wherein there is just an additional 300, 350, 400 calories, depending, as I said, it's a very personal thing, right?
Yeah.
Depending on each woman, her stage, different health conditions. But on a generic basis,
yeah,
300 to 400 excess calories in a day is what is needed. And not to be able to eat for another person. No.
Okay. Traditional Kada remedies during pregnancy, beneficial or best avoided?
See, I think it's good to avoid this because they're very heaty in nature. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like any kind of kadha that you make and you put spices inside it, it's going to have a lot of heat because of the strength of the spices inside.
Yeah.
So I would say you could have a little green tea, you could have a mild little herbal tea.
Okay.
But don't go into very strong, stimulative, hot, heaty kadhas. I would stay away from them.
Okay.
And go in for maybe a light herbal tea or a floral tea or something which is non-caffeinated and lighter.
Okay. So should you avoid caffeine completely when you're pregnant?
You're not needed to avoid caffeine completely. Again, depending on, what your personal goal is or, how your body is reacting to it. Small amounts of caffeine, like let's say, for example, 1 cup of tea or 1 cup of coffee in a day. Or 1 cup of green tea in a day is still very comfortable for a pregnant woman to consume.
Okay. Biggest nutrition mistake Indian women make when preparing for pregnancy?
I think what they make a mistake in, rather, I would say, not even a mistake, I think it doesn't cross their mind, is that they don't plan for postpartum.
Okay. So if I'm having the right kind of food right now while I'm pregnant, will it affect my postpartum recovery?
Of course it will.
Okay.
This can't be rapid because, like what I mean to say is that, postpartum care in the form of nutrition, emotional health, mental health support, everything is not thought of or not planned a lot in the case of women in general.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to do that because then what happens is your post-pregnancy journey becomes more smoother. Your connection with your child becomes more deeper. Your mental health is more stable. Your connection with your family members and your connection with your husband also stays good. So I believe that one thing that women forget to plan better is post-pregnancy, postpartum care, which they should before getting pregnant.
Okay. Protein shakes during pregnancy, helpful boost or unnecessary?
Vegetarians and vegans can consume in smaller quantities. Like let's say, for example, plant-based protein, right?
Yeah.
1 scoop of plant-based protein for a vegetarian or a vegan is good.
Okay.
If you are consuming non-vegetarian food and if you know that you're consuming good amounts of protein in a day, you don't need to take it. But yes, most vegetarians and vegans do not get the optimum, required amount.
Yeah.
Hence, plant-based protein, 1 scoop in a day is still okay for them.
Okay. Coffee lovers dilemma. Exactly how many cups are safe during pregnancy?
Which is what I would... Okay, so as I said, this, I explained this phenomenon to you, right?
Yeah.
Some people are high tolerant coffee metabolizers and some people are low caffeine metabolizers. So now, if you know this, fantastic. Then you already know what to do, right?
Yeah.
But if you don't know this, right? There's a very simple way of finding out.
Okay.
After you've had your coffee, let's say you've had 1 cup of coffee.
Okay.
If you start feeling jittery, more anxious, you start sweating, you're feeling a little uncomfortable, or you get diarrhea and you want to go to the loo immediately, or you feel like, you're very wired, it means that you are a slow metabolizer of coffee.
Okay.
And if you've also realized that you drink 2 to 3 cups in a day of 2 to 3 cups of coffee in a day and then you can't sleep in the night, you are a slow metabolizer of coffee. Easy way of finding out if you just want to find out. So in this case, if a woman is already pregnant, please stick to very low doses of caffeine.
Okay.
1 cup of green tea, 1 cup of, chai, 1 cup of coffee, which is, small at home, those are okay.
Okay.
Let's say you're a high metabolizer of caffeine, right? And you don't get jittery, your heart rate doesn't increase, you're still calm, you can sleep well also, right? Hence, what you could do is 1 or 2 cups of tea or coffee or green tea in a day is going to be okay for you.
Okay. Weight training during pregnancy, risky or recommended?
I would recommend it. But of course, a one which is you're under supervision.
Okay.
Any kind of physical exercise during pregnancy is a very nice thing for you to do. Walking, yoga, weightlifting also, exercising, cardio. It's very nice for you to do all these exercises while you're pregnant. However, under supervision of an experienced trainer. There is going to be some advice needed from the doctor to see if you are physically okay to be able to carry out these exercises. There is going to be a necessary supervision of a trainer constantly needed with you when you are doing these things. Because anything can happen at any time, and it's just better to be safe than to be sorry later. Hence, I would recommend everybody to be physically active. But if you are planning on doing something a little bit more heavy, a little bit more strenuous, please do it under supervision only.
Okay. The pickle and ice cream stereotype. Do pregnancy cravings actually tell us what nutrients we need?
Cravings are something which is true, right? Like cravings are something which we would get as pregnant women, right? Like, I'm not saying that's a myth, but I'm saying, this categorization of like, this craving is this nutrient or this craving is this nutrient. I think it's a little overhyped, Generally, what happens now in pregnancy is that a lot of women sometimes can't eat a lot of, solid foods. They feel nauseous when they're eating a lot of liquidy foods. Or, some women feel a lot of heartburn if they're having a lot of masala, So, the body is now reacting in a way wherein if you are finding it difficult to absorb masalas and you have acidity constantly, you'll crave for cold ice cream. Because it's cooling you down. You'll crave for a lot of nimbu pani. You'll crave for things which are more cooler in nature. I'm saying the body, I told you, is beautiful. So it also reacts in that way. Hence, I feel like if you are getting a certain craving, it is the body compensating for what it needs at the moment. Not related to nutrients only, but also things like acidity, nausea, morning sickness, which are a very common phenomenon for women, right?
Okay. Gestational diabetes, can your pre-pregnancy diet actually prevent it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it can. In fact, this is something that I would like to say. I always say this to all my clients who come in with a family history of diabetes. Any woman who is planning to get pregnant and has a family history of diabetes, which means either her mother or people on her mother's side have diabetes, or her father or the people on her father's side have diabetes, or both, she is at a higher risk of getting gestational diabetes if she's not taken care of it, right? Or if she already has PCOS, or if she already has thyroid conditions, there is a possibility for her to get gestational diabetes. Hence, if you know that there is a family history, please be very careful and follow protocols while getting pregnant. And even while you are pregnant.
Because you might feel like, okay, chalo, I'm pregnant, let me eat like one dessert, because that's what everybody tells you, right?
You will have to follow a curated and a particular protocol for your diet. If you end up getting any of the hormonal dysfunctions, which is like if you end up getting gestational diabetes, or if you end up getting a little bit more overweight, or if you end up getting a thyroid fluctuation when you are pregnant, you will have to be monitored, and there will have to be a protocol that you will have to follow. In spite of you being pregnant, for the safety of you and your child.
Okay. One vitamin that's worth splurging on the premium version for pregnancy.
Methylated folate.
Okay.
It is a more stronger and, sometimes available in a more premium format.
Okay.
But methylated folate is what women who want to conceive should consume instead of, basic folate or basic folic.
Okay.
This is something that I think is worth the indulgence. Because it helps with the neurological development of your baby. 3 to 6 months before you want to plan your pregnancy, this is something that you can take.
Okay. Postpartum hair loss preventable through pregnancy nutrition or unavoidable?
Yes. looking after your thyroid, getting a thyroid check. Let's look into these factors which affect the most with hair fall while pregnancy, post pregnancy also, right? If you have thyroid fluctuations, if you have food intolerances, if your iron levels are not okay, if your B12 and D3 levels are not okay. These 5 factors, if you keep a tab on this while you're pregnant, after you're pregnant, and you work around this, make sure that these are good, you can 100% reduce hair fall, get your hair back really quickly if you have lost some, and also prevent a lot of, other things like pigmentation on the face and things like that. You can also prevent those aesthetic things if you take care of these 5 elements.
Okay. And the last one, gut health and conception, real connection or health trend type?
Yes, it is a real connection. In fact, I feel like gut health and anything, not just conception, but I feel like gut health and something as simple as our mood, something as simple as our emotions are also so deeply connected to each other. When we are planning a pregnancy, it's really nice to be able to balance our gut. It's really nice to be able to balance our gut flora, because now what we're doing is that when our pregnancy happens and we are eating different kinds of foods, because mostly what happens is most pregnant women are now open and being told to experience different kinds of food products for the health of the baby, for their own health, things like that, right? So the digestive system works in a more better way if you take care of your gut health pre-pregnancy. Lesser UTIs, a lot of women who are pregnant end up getting UTIs. So lesser UTIs, lesser, food-related intolerances while you are pregnant. Suddenly, a lot of women start feeling that this is not suiting me or this is what I don't want to have. Is because the gut microbiome is also shifting now, right? So when you've taken care of it before, when you are pregnant and even post-pregnancy, there is better environment for good gut bacteria to flourish. Hence, I think that it is important for you to take care of it.
Okay. So, are there any points that we've not covered, we've not touched, and you really want to talk about it? Something that you just want people to stop doing this in terms of nutrition, please just stop it. You're ruining your life, or anything that we've not touched upon.
I think we touched upon a lot of great points. I'm really happy, Payal, that we had this conversation, right? Because, there were so many questions that you asked me and there were so many things that I spoke about, right, spontaneously, which really need to be spoken about. People are having these conversations silently in their mind, but to listen to somebody else talk about it openly, it also really reaffirms them. Right? So firstly, I think we've done a great job. Thank you so much for asking all these brilliant questions.
Thank you so much that you always have so much to talk about every topic that I ask you, and I'm like, okay, Karishma, what do I do? Karishma, I'm going through this, and then you always have the answer. And I think the best part is that you're always available for your clients, your patients. You consider them like your family members.
Thank you. Thank you for noticing this, and thank you for saying this also, because I do. I take my work as worship, and I believe that health can't be a 1 month, 2 month, 3 month thing. No. It's a lifelong thing, right? So when someone comes to me, I want to be able to give you something that you can take back for the rest of your life, and not just something which is a 1 month protocol or a 2 month protocol.
Because what's the thing that we worked together, I think 3 or 4 years ago, I still follow that. And it's with like me. It's a part of me now. Because I had a notion that this is nutrition. I am following everything correctly. But then the moment you started talking about what nutrition is actually, and I'm like, okay, I'm not following any of this. And I'm thanks to you that I'm still following it, because you're not someone like, acha yehi hai, abhi pay me the next amount of ye, then I will help you with other aspect of it, then the other aspect, which usually happens when you go to nutritionist. So but you're not one of those people.
Make me cry now. Thank you. That's very sweet of you. I'm really happy that you noticed this. People don't notice these things, so thank you for noticing it. First of all, it takes one to know one. So thank you for the beautiful words and the appreciation. I really appreciate it. The next thing that you told me, right? See, I'm a person where I believe that me giving advice, me giving gyan, me giving all these things, right, is just worthless if it doesn't open a conversation in your mind. Because you can listen to lots of things.
Yeah.
All I want to do is, I want to open a certain pathway in your mind which was closed for a very, very long time.
Right.
So, if this conversation that we had did that for somebody, that it opened a certain gateway, it opened a certain thought process, it opened a certain mindset for them, our job is done.
It's done.
So, no advice, no gyan, no nothing. It's just that I hope that it impacts them.
Yeah.
And it does what I had intended to do with this conversation, right? And on a closing note, what I want to say is, how I started with self-awareness is the new wellness. This is something that I coined.
Yeah.
And I'm also practicing this a lot with my clients. I've seen the impact of this. I want everybody to be able to do this, to be able to close the external noise, because there is a limit to how much we can listen to experts. There is a limit that how much we can listen to any gurus. There is a limit that how much we can listen to any kind of a preacher. At the end of the day, all we will be left with and all we will want to listen to is our inner voice.
Yeah.
I'm saying give that opportunity to yourself.
Yeah.
Give that opportunity to yourself to introspect, listen to what you want from within, let the self-awareness rise. If you need support for that, please go out and get it.
Yeah.
Right? There are people who can help you do this. There are people who can raise your self-awareness.
Yeah.
So go and get that kind of self-support.
Yeah.
And then work on yourself day in and day out. That's going to make your health better for the lifetime.
Yeah.
No magic pill, no magic diet, no magic lifestyle is going to help you as much as your self-awareness kicking in and you applying it day after day after day after day and seeing a better, vibrant, more radiant version of yourself. So this is my giveaway to everyone.
Yeah. Lovely. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.